This is Wednesday, the 25th of February, about 10 days after my last video, and you can see that this digger, Dino, has completely pulled down. It's entirely gone, this entire row. As you can see the rear end, this side of the car park clearly, and you can see where the old Barclays Bank was. I would say it's the new Barclays Bank, but it's not the new Barclays Bank now. They've replaced the Stump Cross one, which was really where the bridge is now. So I'll just give you a minute or two of watching this. This video will not be anywhere near as long because there's no actual demolition taking place. Rick's place is about here. Rick's place, for those who don't know, is a former nightclub. It's a former nightclub, Rick's place. I think what they'll be doing now, they've swept the rubble back from the path. What they could really be doing now is opening the road up, putting this fence that you can see well further back, and sorry, he didn't know the cyclist. This is not a cycle path. They could well move this fence right up to where the rubble is and open the road again, but for safety reasons that won't happen. As you can see, Dino, as he's been named by people on Facebook, Dinosaur, Rexy. I've heard Rex, which of course is Latin for king. All this rubble will be ground down and used again in the building of roads and new buildings. Maybe some of this rubble will be used for the brick dust for the brand new buildings, which will go up here eventually. I don't know when, but he's now clearing the rubble out of the way, the rubble that was Barclays Bank. And let's go down Magdalen Street. I shall tell you what the buildings were. That one here is where the graffiti is, or not graffiti, it's the shadow. That's the former, I knew it was an Indian restaurant. Then you had various other shops. Poundland, and there were various other shops. There was a beauty shop, there was a jeweller's shop. That's all gone. You can now very clearly see you can see the dust, and I don't know quite what this chap's doing. Oh, I see. in a bit of foundation rod to get it out of the ground. That's and he has literally just dropped the gas cylinders. And as you can see, the entrance to the square was the Magdalen Street entrance. You can, well, you always could see right through. This is the back of the Odeon, the Hollywood cinema. And you can very clearly see the remains of the former snooker club, which belonged to Barry Pinch's in the 80s. Card Factory is the only logical building still standing. The rest which came further forward, they're gone. One of the first parcel post boxes. That's the reason why it was taped up over Christmas. Yes. So we'll get a bit more of a shout. There's the Gilden Gate House where the reference library was, and there it is. I'll just pause the video for a moment. Well, I won't, I'll just take you back this way. This will be about a 20-minute video. The last one was ridiculously long, 30 minutes, although I put it up on YouTube and it's close to 400 views, which is great. Let's yeah, this cool. Yes, you're happy with that, there's still a lot of dust, as you can hear by my coughing. There's dust in the air. It needs to be sprayed. It needs to be sprayed again. So there's no actual demolition work taking place on this side of the square, of the former square. But there will be in a minute or two where Dino's big brother, Diplodocus, as I call him, is it Diplodocus? Is it Diplodocus? One of the shops in the former Royal Arcade, not Royal Arcade, but certainly a former arcade, which I used to frequent when I was in my younger, wilder days, if my wilder days could be classed as wild. And you can see Epic Studios. So we're gonna turn into Edward Street, and Dino is just doing what Dino does. Oh dear. As you can,
you really fell. Is there a soda there?
So I might as well keep it running. Because as you can see, the car park, the demolition's into the second week of the car park. It's been taken down. This is the 8th working day, because they don't work Saturday or Sunday. And the big brother of Dino, he's busy at work taking down what I think is the upper parts of the car park, and then that green machine will do the rest of the car park. Now, an interesting bit of trivia. I know the former. I used to, I don't know whether you can see it, but there was an office through there, and I used to go in there as a child. I used to know the chap, Mr. Howard. He was formerly known as Barry Howard, but he goes under another name now. I'm gonna maintain his privacy by not saying his name now, but let's see what Dino's brother Dippy, or Diplodocus, they've actually spraying water on this now. They've actually finally connected a water pipe, and there he is. And I would say the car park is about 25% gone on its upper tier. I wouldn't say it's gone completely from its lower tier, but he's having a few minutes of rest, but the water is still spraying. I think that's what the aim is. I think there's another digger working there. Let's just see. There are several interested spectators. I mean, yes, Anglia Square was opened in 1970, the Odeon was opened in 1971, and the bridge was opened in 1973. So when we start to see the bridge from this kind of angle, it will be the first time that you've seen it from this angle, because the bridge opened after the square. The bridge opened in 73, as I've just said, and the square opened in 2 or 3 years before. And I apologise for the sun. It would be in the south that this demolition work's taking place. You can see the sheer size of Dippy, as we're calling. He's now about to move and do his thing. His thing, it could be a her. The way it's been tearing down this thing, you can eerily see the shadow. Look at the shadow of the thing. There's so much water in the air that with the sunlight shining through the water, you can actually see the shadow of the claw that Dippy the Diplodocus is working on. He's going a bit higher now. I'm trying to keep the sun out. Let's see. Yes, here we go. The times I used to go to the top of that car park and look at the views of the city. Oh, the water's coming this way. Oh, that was an interesting feeling to have water come spray this far. I'll just keep it here for a few minutes. There's no other demolition taking place today. As you can see, you look down there, you look down Edward Street, and you can see the buildings onto what's known as Cowgate, and yeah, you can see the buildings where the former Lloyd's Bank stood. Yes, Dippy the Diplodocus. It looks like a dinosaur with an extended thing, neck, and you can't really see much through the water. There's so much water being sprayed, but he is definitely working on that section of the car park. I'll just take you just a bit further up Edward Street. Which incidentally was opened, which was cut through when Anglia Square was built. So this road is only about 50 odd years old, 57 maybe years old. Yeah. See, here would have been the back of the first Odeon cinema, which was in, what's the name? And at one time you couldn't get through. You couldn't get through here. Edward Street. I don't think you could. I think there was a road here, but in order to go down up St Augustine Street, you had to go round where the road is to the left, and then turn round the roundabout and go back up St Augustine's that way. This new bit here enabled a right turn, and I'm supposed to be showing you the demolition, but I thought I would do how the area was created. Of course, Anglia Square stands stood. You can now use Anglia Square in the past tense because it's very definitely not. Well, it's present. The buildings are present. I'm just gonna pause the video and I'll be back in a moment. Here we are again. You can see it a lot better now. And you can see where the roads used to go inside the thing. I reckon once the upper levels have disappeared, the green digger type thing will deal with the lower levels, and this beast will move on to, I would have thought, the Odeon Cinema, and then to Gildon Gate House, and then to this beast, Sovereign House. So on this side of the road, you now turn right to go down up St Augustine Street, but at one time you had to go where that car and the bus is now going, and you had to go all the way around the roundabout and back again. There's the former music shop. That's PMT. That's sadly gone. It's in the wrong part of town, wrong part of the city, if you want my opinion. Here we are again. Some more demolition. And I'm just crossing. I'll be back in a minute. Here we are again. Through the gate. That noise you can hear that noise you can hear is water being sprayed on the bottom part for a building that was closed because of its being a dangerous structure. This is taking some doing. Reinforced concrete is surprisingly sturdy, as a professional once told me would have been better. I don't know whether I've said this before, but if you're wondering why Sovereign House HMSO looks a bit different there, it's because there was supposed to have been another wing. Anglia Square was never finished. I might have said that in my previous video, but yes, it was never finished. Anglia Square was never finished. Now this area here was where the Odeon Cinema once stood, the first Odeon Cinema, to be replaced by that monstrosity there in the background. Yes. I'll just leave this here. I'll stop around 25 minutes. The other one was a bit long. This one's gone a bit longer because there's been a bit of history of the area. So, as you can see, another digger clearing the way. You can very clearly see. Well, it's the old pound stretcher. That yellow in the distance is the old pound stretcher. That was the YMCA charity shop, which went to St Stephen's and has since closed down in St Stephen's. And I think he's lost his spade thing. I think it came off. There's another digger in the background. So there's several of these diggers. And here there's more demolition. It's progressed not dramatically. This could take another 2 weeks to do at this rate, maybe even 3 weeks. But I think this machine here is going to do the upper half and then move on to the cinema, while the smaller diggers will do the rest, unless there's going to be another one of these beasts turn up, which could do. So there you have it. This is the progress as of the 25th of February 2026. Demolition began on the 16th of February. So this is the 8th day of demolition, 8th working day, as I should say. So I will leave it there for now, and we'll come back next week to see how far progression has been made. Until then, cheerio for now.